What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hummus Tang and today we are going to review the Poco X3 Pro. So I've been using this for about 2 weeks already and it's time to give a nice review about this. I got a lot to talk about this and a lot to actually compliment about this phone over here, the X3 Pro. So without messing around, without delaying your time, let's get right into it. So yes, the major thing that I do like about this phone, of course, is the price and where it's actually priced at. So the X3 Pro here in Malaysia, you can get it for about 899 ringgit during those sales. Ever since it was launched, I think the launch price and of course the 4/4 sale, this will be already 2 sales. And you can actually get this for about 899 ringgit, otherwise it's about 999 ringgit, which is equivalent to about 250 USD. So yes, for less than 250 bucks, you are getting an amazing phone. And this is how Poco phone started back in 2018. And come on, let's be real. Poco phone is doing what OnePlus has been trying to do over the last few years. Of course, they have been going up in terms of the market, so the prices have been going up. But of course, we are thankful that we have something like here, the Poco phone, to actually be the flagship killer, the new flagship killer in the market, which, to be honest, it's a good thing. It's the reason why we have the S20 FE, we have the iPhone SE, we have so many of these big companies going down in their prices and giving us a lot of specs as well. And so thanks to phones like this. So yes, back in 2018, I actually used the Poco phone F1 and it was a really good phone, very similar to, of course, the OnePlus 6. They had the Snapdragon 845, very good specs overall, and yes, they did a really good job and it sold quite a bit. And it's funny because in 2019, they didn't really do that with their phones, and in 2020, they did release the Poco F2 Pro. I did use that as well and it was a really good phone, but it didn't really stand out for me because maybe of the price. It was about 400 to 500 USD, I think, for the base storage model, and it wasn't a real big deal because at about 2,000 ringgit, about 500 USD, yes, you were getting the latest Snapdragon 865, but other than that, you were not really getting a very excellent phone and not something very Poco phony. So yes, after that, later on, at the end of the year, they did release the Poco M3, but that was more catered towards the entry level. And of course, in between that, we had the Poco X3 and X3 NFC, which, to be honest, I did recommend that phone a lot to a lot of my friends and to a lot of people who actually asked me which phone to get between the $200 to $250 range. I would always recommend the Poco phones because I always like their software, I like their specs, and yes, it was a pretty sweet deal. But when it came here with the X3 Pro, initially when I heard about the rumors, I thought maybe they would give us the Snapdragon 765G or maybe a 780 or 770, maybe just the highest end mid-range chipset. But no. Poco decided to actually give us the Snapdragon 860, the first of its kind, and to be honest, yes, I understand it's not the 888, it's not the 870 either, but 860 is still a very good chipset, and if you look at this price point again, it's just a very sweet deal. And what I gotta summarize this phone as it is that it's just way too much you're getting in this phone. And I don't say this about a lot of phones. I don't think I ever said this about any phones as well, because at this price point, again, 900 bucks, 900 ringgit, you are getting just way too much for your phone. And what I mean by that is, we're gonna go through some of the key specs. Like I said, Snapdragon 860, it's better than your 855 Plus, so it's maybe the 855 Plus. And yeah, you're getting 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, which you can expand with a micro SD card. Yes, you can go up to the 8 gigs of RAM or 256 gigs of storage. So yes, it's a very good phone. And what I think Poco has done a really good job here is they've seen the trend when it comes to gaming phones, and they have actually made this into a sort of a budget gaming phone. And what I mean by that is, of course, you look at the design of this phone, it looks very gaming-ish, and of course you get your UFS 3.1 storage. You also get a very big battery over here, which comes in at about 5,160. So yes, using this on a daily basis, it will definitely last you a day. If you're into a lot of gaming, it will last you very long. I think a few hours of gaming with this, which is really good. So yes, it's an absolute no-brainer when it comes to recommending this phone. And at 200 to 250 USD, again, I gotta say, It's just so easy nowadays for me to recommend this phone. Yes, I know here in Malaysia sometimes we get some delay when it comes to the shipping, but if you are patient enough, this phone, to be honest, is really well worth to wait. And yes, the sales for the past 2 weeks have been absolutely madness here, absolutely great, and it's no surprise because if you look at this is just this is just a very good phone. But yes, I do understand that some people might actually try to nitpick this phone, and to be honest, I don't find there's a point in it because like I said, at this price point again, definitely there will be some cutbacks. You're not getting a S21 Ultra, the Mi 11 Ultra, all those highest end phone at this price point. Of course, there's some cutbacks, but I don't really care about the cutbacks, and I think about 95% of the people around here and 95% of you guys watching this channel right here, watching this video right here, won't even care about the cutbacks. So yes, they might argue that you're not getting your premium glass back. And to be honest, looking at this back over here, it is made out of plastic, but you gotta say, it does look really good. It does have the gaming feel to it, especially if you order the black variant. The blue variant is very plain and simple, but if you order this one over here, it does have that purple hue on the sides, which actually does make it look really cool, and again, very gaming phone-ish. And plastic, yeah, you know what, who cares? You're gonna put a case on it at the end of the day, so no one would actually bother. Yeah, people might complain you're not getting wireless charging, but again, wireless charging is pretty slow unless you get those higher end phones. But then again, you still get a fast wired charging over here, 33 watts. And again, like I have to remind you guys, 5160 milliamps of battery, which even a lot of flagship phones would not even have this size of battery. But there's one thing over here on this phone that might be a deal breaker for some of you guys, and it is the display. So yes, you still are getting a 120Hz display, a sampling rate about 300 plus hertz sampling rate. So yes, in terms of gaming, again, this is very good, but then again, you are still getting an IPS LCD display. To be honest, watching content here for the past few weeks, 2 weeks of that has been really good. Yes, you don't get the accurate colors, you don't get the extra sharpness and details, but overall at this price point again, I really got nothing to complain about the X3 Pro. And if you couple this with the stereo speakers, which normally phones won't even come with this at this price point, again, with the whole LCD display, 120Hz, everything, watching content, playing your games would be a fun-filled experience. And of course, lastly, over here are the cameras, and yes, you still have your 48 megapixel sensor. It's a big number, and you still get your ultra wide and your macro depth. To be honest, it just works like a dual camera setup at the end of the day. Yeah, you don't buy a $200 phone and expect like your flagship kind of cameras, and you don't expect like your highest end kind of photography, but I would say people who buy this phone would be satisfied with the photos that we have taken so far. Yes, you do get some noise around, you get some grain, HDR may not be so good, dynamic range may not be so good, colors may not be so popish as with all flagship phones, but then again, it will still get the job done. You get your main lens, which does give you 48 megapixel. You still get your ultra wide, which I think is the most useful second lens you can ever get. So yes, it's a very good set of cameras at the end of the day, and like I said, 200 and 250 bucks, this is an absolute deal. So yes, that is it. This is my review of the Poco X3 Pro. Would I recommend it? Absolutely yes. But then again, the Poco F3, which still hasn't come to this channel yet, hasn't come to me yet, that phone is arriving soon, and the price point on that is very similar to this phone. But some of you guys might want to save a little few bucks to buy certain other things, or you just want to save some bucks. So this phone right here, I gotta say, I gotta recommend this throughout the whole year. Even up to next year, this is just a very good phone. So that is it. If you find this video helpful, do leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Do also follow me on my socials as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also here on YouTube at Dr. Hammerstack. So that is it. This is Dr. Hammerstack. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.